Quilters Newsletter TV, the quilters community, is brought to you by Handy Quilter, designed by a quilter for quilters. Sulky, express yourself with Sulky and create with confidence. Brother, it's so easy with Brother at your side. And Quilt Cut, easy fabric cutting for quilters.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Quilters Newsletter TV, the quilters community. I'm Patrick Lose, your host for this series, and I'm here again with my friend Kay Capps-Cross. Hi, Kay.
Hello, Patrick.
And with the patriotic holidays coming up, we've been working on my Patriotic Placemat project. That's a lot of P's.
That is a lot of P's.
But we've gotten some satin stitching done. The first thing that we did was to satin stitch the star that goes in the center of the placemat. And Kay did an excellent job on that.
Thank you.
And she's
Gold
also
star worthy?
Oh, gold star, definitely.
Yes.
A+.
Yes.
But she's also been busy cutting some fabrics. We're going to do some
Yes.
piecing now. And she's been cutting the strips and things like that. We have cut, we had already cut the 7.5-inch square
Right.
for the center. We've got 4 5.5-inch squares for the corner blocks here. And then we've got 1.5-inch strips of red and the ivory color that actually we cut from selvage to selvage, because usually when you're making placemats you make more than one. The instructions say to cut a 1.5 by 24-inch strip, but we just went ahead and did selvage to selvage. So the next thing that we're going to do is Kay's going to piece those together. We're just going to strip piece all of the red and white stripes together. So would you like to have a seat at the machine?
I'd like to do that.
Okay,
Yes.
great. Now when you are piecing something like this, and this is what's tricky about this project, and not that it's difficult, but you just have to be mindful of it. There are 7 stripes alternating red and ivory. By the time you've stitched 6 1/4-inch seams, there's a little bit of play in there.
Yes.
So how do you make sure that it's accurate, that it's going to measure, 7.5 or something really close to that, so that you can piece then to the other block?
I always stitch just a scant quarter.
I do too,
Just
especially
a
when there's
scant.
this many
Yeah,
pieces in
to
a block.
make up for that amount
The
that's
thickness of the
eaten
fabric.
up by the fold.
Right, in the fold.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. So I'm always a scant.
Okay,
Yep.
great.
And frequently,
easy to do.
when I cut as well, if I were going to do something like this with lots of stripes, when I cut it, I might make sure I'm
Dead on.
dead
That line,
on
yeah.
or a smidge, almost one thread over.
Yeah, because it's kind of deceiving when you look at a ruler. The lines on a gridded ruler, they're sometimes 1/16 of an inch wide
Yes.
right there. So
where
you've
in
gotta
that
split
16th
difference. Right,
is it?
Right.
Yes.
And this is not like difficult piecing. I've pieced a lot more difficult things, but you want to make sure that you do the seam allowances so that you're able to piece the striped block to the solid block. You like to take it at a
I like to go.
fast pace too.
There's
do too.
racing in my blood.
Oh, really?
Yes, my
Literally.
father, true. My father was a go-kart racer
Oh, cool.
before we were born. And then after he had 3 kids, he stopped racing, but he kept the go-karts. And he had one that we could drive. And then he had his racing one. And if we were really, really good, we could go down to the shop and use the racing one.
Wow.
That was really
That
fun.
would be very cool.
Oh, it was awesome.
Very cool.
All right, got one strip done here.
All right, we'll only have 5 more.
Yeah, only 5 more.
All righty, so which one do you want next?
A red one,
A red one?
Please.
There you go.
and then an ivory one.
And you're not going to press each of these as you
No,
sew,
I
right?
think I'll wait till the whole piece is together.
Yeah, I think so.
And then press.
I'll open it up for you there.
Okay. Now, do you ever do 2, 2, 2 and then sew them together? Or do you always add to it?
I have before. It's just whatever I'm in the mood
Whatever
to do.
you're-
Yeah,
Feeling like at the time.
and sometimes it has to do with the fabric.
I have to say this fabric is going together really beautifully.
Good.
Very beautifully.
Okay. Okay, so 7 strips later, you got them all
Yes.
pieced together. That wasn't so bad.
No, it wasn't.
But now we need to press those all. And how I would press these all to the dark side. The seam
Yes.
allowances to the dark side.
Yeah, we don't want to
the
see
red.
that seam allowance
Okay, good,
behind the
good.
light
So if
fabric.
you'll do that.
So I would start right there. Is that where
Okay,
you would
sure,
start?
yep.
Yep. Get those red tucked away.
And honestly, what I do a lot of the times is press from the right side so that
Do
you
you?
know that it's completely open on the outside.
Okay.
On the right side. I mean, I don't think it's necessary, but it's just my preference,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
I actually, on something like this, I probably would be
Because there's so many of them.
a little more painstaking than you.
Because you want to see that each stripe is the same width.
Yeah.
And sometimes just not opening up that seam enough is going to make them look wavy,
Yeah.
you know.
I like that. That reduces a step for me.
Good, okay.
Because
We're all for that.
I typically do it from the back and turn it over and do it
And
again.
then do it again, yeah.
Yeah. So
And
I
then
like
you've already
this.
pressed it, you know, if you've done it wrong, you've pressed a crease into it that you need to get rid of. And it's
Yeah,
just
you've done it
easier.
wrong twice.
Yeah.
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 Good idea. Thank you.
But you don't have to do all that because
Good.
we've already got it pressed here. And I'm going to have you come over here because we need to do some cutting. We're going to cut this now into the 4 striped blocks that make up the placemat here. And we'll just
So
set
these
these
pieces
aside.
right here, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
All of our striped blocks are next. Let me set these aside.
Now, which side would you cut this from?
Oh, I would cut from the right side.
Yeah.
I just don't want the seam allowances in my face. And we're going to cut these 5.5 inches by,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it should be 7.5 inches here, and then we're going to cut 5.5 inch lengths of this.
Okay.
So,
Now,
gonna
Patrick does
double
these
up?
one at a time. I will do it Patrick's way here.
No, it's okay.
If
I
I
will
were in my studio, I'd be chopping them two at a time.
I just think that you're more accurate, you know, because especially when you're using a gridded ruler, you can line the lines up with the stripe, and you know if your stripes are wavy
Yes.
or straight or not, you know.
Yes. So I can line up here and here.
Yeah, and that looks really good.
Does that look good?
Mm-hmm. So we'll cut 4 of those. Yeah, these they actually look really good.
They do.
I love how those colors pop too.
Oh, they're wonderful. This is such a rich red. Beautiful red.
Red's one I don't really have a favorite. People ask me what my favorite color is, and it changes all the time. But red's one that's a constant. I always like red.
What do you call this red?
That one's strawberry.
And I was thinking tomato.
It's tomato. Yeah,
Yep.
it is. But anything that's more yellow, if it had more blue in it, I definitely wouldn't call it that. And I probably wouldn't have used it. I wanted it to be a nice, sharp, contrasty red.
Yeah, it's very nice and saturated.
Mm-hmm.
These stripes really do look good.
I think that, yeah, the blocks look
They
great.
look great. So we've got 4 of them pieced
Okay.
or cut. Now what do we do?
Well, we're going to piece them together. Let me show you in the diagrams here, we're going to piece our corner blocks and our stripe blocks together.
Okay.
And we'll do it in this order. So if you'd like to do the
I would
piecing,
love to.
I can hand you the pieces if you want to step
Perfect.
over to the machine.
Good.
And again, just a 1/4 inch seam.
1/4 inch. Got the 1/4 inch foot, which makes life really easy. And you like to do each line by line, don't you? Each row by row.
Yeah, well, it's just a fast way to do it.
Yeah.
You
On something
see
this
your
size.
accomplishment immediately.
Yep.
Yeah.
We like to do that as quilters, don't we? We like to open it up and look
I
at
want
it.
immediate satisfaction,
Yes.
or I don't want to do it at all.
Exactly. Exactly. And what do you know? There's one row done.
There, see, that's how fast they go together.
Yes.
And here's your next one.
I like this. Do you think that you could come with me to my studio when I'm working on things and you could be sitting there next to me, handing me pieces?
No.
Maybe not so much?
No.
Okay. Was an
Maybe
idea.
if we want to do a retreat together sometime, I
Oh,
think
wouldn't
that's
that
what we
be
really
fun?
should do.
That's
Yeah,
what we
that
should
would
do,
be great.
yes. That would be great. We could have dueling demonstrations.
Oh, I'm not that. I don't think that I need to
Oh, I think
be
it'd
that
be
pushy
fun.
as a teacher.
I think we'd have a great time.
Oh, I know we would. I don't worry about it. We're having a great time right now. So
Yes.
okay, and here's our star block. And these are going right together, aren't they?
Oh, they're going together beautifully.
So the star block, then the stripes go the opposite direction. So
I like that. So it's non-directional.
The star is kind of directional, though. It has to sit, you know, on its 2 points here. So it is kind of a one-way. If you turn it, it looks a little lopsided. So that's how you know that the horizontal stripes go next to the star that way.
Okay. That's the Patrick way of doing things.
Well, I guess.
Yeah. It's a good way of doing things. Wow, is this looking great?
It really is. I just like how fast it goes together.
Tremendously fast.
Because you can make a whole tabletop of these in no time with all the strip piecing, you know.
Oh, I could be chaining these all together.
Right.
8 placemats at a time. Quite easily.
All right, Kay's been piecing these rows together, and we're just about done with the first quilt top, first top of the placemat.
Almost to the end.
Almost. So that shows you how fast this project goes together.
Very fast.
Yeah. And there
Oh,
we
that
go.
looks great.
Yeah, I love it. That's really sharp. So all we have left now is to cut the circle shape, and we're going to do that in the next segment. Come
Good.
back with me and do that?
I'd be just delighted to.
Oh, good, good.
Yes.
Well, join us for the next segment then of Quilters Newsletter TV, the Quilters Community. I'm Patrick Lose with Kay Capscross. Thanks for joining us.
Quilters Newsletter TV, the Quilters Community, is brought to you by Handy Quilter, designed by a quilter for quilters. Sulky, express yourself with Sulky and create with confidence. Brother, it's so easy with Brother at your side. And Quilt Cut, easy fabric cutting for quilters.